Heavy rain in Germany? Is that true? How does it come?
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast to the protection against heavy rain and flooding by Dr. Flood, Andreas KLIPPE.
So the big challenge is, how can house owners like you and me get a flood-free home? How can business managers like you and me get a flood-free company? And how can public servants provide flood-free critical infrastructure and livable cities?
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas KLIPPE. This podcast is for foresighted and proactive people who do not want to shovel the muddy water out of their room while standing in the midst of the disaster.
Therefore, those who design and plan, the architects and engineers, need to construct such buildings and cities, and that even when the entire environment is completely flooded. That is a challenge, and this podcast will give the answers.
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas KLIPPE.
Yeah, the question really is, heavy rain in Germany and flooding, is that true and how does it come? And yes, unfortunately, I must say it is true. It happens again and again, as it happens in France, in Italy, in the USA and in Australia. And these countries are known as industrialized countries. And then we see the heavy rain and the flooding in countries of the so-called third world, or I even say it's a second world, the countries under transition, so to these industrial countries. But at the end, it doesn't play any role. Yes, the damage in poorer country is worse. That the reason is that it very often hits a landscape where the people are not able to construct buildings as we do that in cities like in Paris or in New York or in Germany. However, we have other weak points, and these are the underground garages, for instance. And very often they are not protected. That is also true for the basements in private houses in Germany. And it happened on May 2 and 3 in 2024 when heavy rainfall in southern and central Germany flooded cellars and turned shopping streets into streams. Into rivers. And today I want to tell it what happened, that you do not think it only happens in your country. And at the end of the day, it is not only a question of do I have a good drainage system, public sewer or not. Very often I hear that, especially in the Philippines, I hear that also in Dubai or in Qatar and in Saudi Arabia. And sometimes I also hear from people that they say, I don't protect anything at the moment because the government wants to do something with the drainage and the public sewer. And then I always say, okay, if you want to rely on somebody else, do that. We have a customer in the Philippines. He has a house in one of the richer areas, so nice areas in Metro Manila in Alabang. And he's traveling quite often. And his house is located at the lower part of this subdivision. It's a beautiful house, by the way. And he was concerned, not concerned. He was really frustrated and completely, how can I say it? He was without hope when he contacted us because he lost his Mercedes and his BMW and had a lot of damage in his house. And the reason why he finally installed flood barriers, and I was designing them for him because he did not trust the government and the municipality, because there is a drainage system. They were connected with a public sewer, but it didn't work. And he said, I do not want to be dependent on whether the municipality is cleaning and maintaining the public sewer and the drainage system or not. In this case, nobody was cleaning it. Maintenance in such countries is not really the priority, and so difficult. In my street here, when I'm in Germany, in the Taunus, a little bit half an hour north of Frankfurt am Main, I think at least twice or three times a year, the municipality is coming along with a municipality truck, special truck, and they clean the gullies leading to the public sewer. So they take out all these leaves and dirt, sometimes dead animals, etc. So they clean that in case of a flooding, the gully can take the water masses and lead them to the public sewer. So what happened in Germany? There was really bad weather. It was announced, yes, and the people could prepare themselves. But very often they were distracted from the good weather feeling before. That was a kind of summer feeling. And then you don't take these news for serious. You look to the sky, you realize, oh, it's blue sky. There's not one single cloud. And the bad weather. I think the weather guys, they were telling something what is not really true. And perhaps it will not hit me. And in the Luisenstraße in Bad Homburg, what is not far away from my site and close to Frankfurt as well, there was a lot of water in the street, and Luisenstraße is a kind of shopping area. So it's for walking, and the cars are only allowed in the early morning or late evening for delivery, or for the private locators, of course. And even a police station in Idstein was 1.5 meters underwater. Idstein is another city. And the water came through the windows as well. The basements were flooding. Most of the houses in Germany have basements, and the garages and underground parkings as well. The reaction was the news and the TV announced bad weather and the observations, and not many explained on how to protect. That is what we not really observe. And people always say, this never happened before. Yep, that is what I always hear in the Philippines as well. I hear it in Vietnam, I hear it in Indonesia, I hear it in Korea, and in the Middle East as well. They always say it never happened before, and when it happened, they will say, oh, it will not happen again. And I can only tell you guys, say, wake up. The world is changing right now, and you can gamble, but I always say, if you want to gamble, go to the casino. But we don't gamble with the safety of our customers. And would you let your baby play behind a door that is not flood protected when the weather report is announcing heavy rain and flooding everywhere, and that you should protect yourself? Would you do that? I don't think so. And that is always what you should have in mind. Protect yourself on your own and don't rely on somebody else. No drainage system in the world can take all these water masses when the sky is opening all the clouds at the same time. And what is worse sometimes, that the clouds with all the water stored inside are not moving forward. That means they stay. Like what you observe with hurricanes, typhoons, or cyclones. What is the same, by the way? Sometimes they don't move. They don't go away. They stay, and it will rain and rain and rain and rain, and suddenly you have not only 10 liters per square meters. You have 20, 40, 100, 200, 400. And what if you have that within 1 hour, or within 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and the water cannot go away, especially not in a concreted city with no functioning public sewer. So don't rely on the news. They only tell you, please the bad weather will come. They never tell you, take the umbrella this morning. That is your own decision. So you need to be prepared in preventing flood damages, not repairing the damage after the flood. That's a learning. Huh? And we really have to learn that. And that is why we offer always to start with, I have 3.3 suggestions for you, 3 golden nuggets today in this Flood Protection Secrets episode. Today, everything starts with a flood protection initial consultation. For huge projects, we describe it, I think it's described in episode 71, cut costs with, it's not published yet. It will follow. It will follow very soon. So there's a series, cut costs with smart flood protection planning, and part 1 was published already. That is episode 69, and the other episodes are yet to come. That I think it's something in the 90s, whatever. But cut costs with smart flood protection planning. It's described in episode 69. That is part number 1, and so it starts with an initial consultation. And then it starts with an engineering assessment, what you need for bigger plans, and also for a lot with I don't talk only about one garage and one entrance, but sometimes even then we need to do an engineering assessment. We had such a case from Thailand. There was an house owner who wanted to protect the house, and when I have seen how it was constructed with glass, with a swimming pool directly located at the side, at the backside of the building, and slopes and not enough space and vertical obstacles like downspouts or electric cables and pipes, then it is really necessary to start with an engineering assessment also for a private house. So everything will be considered. Backflow will be considered from the public sewer, for instance, that you don't have this brown fontaine suddenly. You have nice flat barriers and you think you are protected, and suddenly the water is coming through your toilet. And that is what we call the brown fontaine. You don't want that. So it starts with an initial consultation, an engineering assessment, and for more complex projects, we call it project planning. And that is described in Flood Protection Secrets episode 69. The title is Cut Costs with Smart Flood Protection Planning. Part 2, Part 3 will be published, I think within the next weeks. Okay, that's it for today. If you have liked this episode, subscribe to the podcast, Flood Protection Secrets, if you haven't already, or contact the flood experts at the Asian headquarters in the Philippines, or contact me directly wherever I am in the world. Just Google Andreas KLIPPE. The links can be found below this podcast description. And as always, stay safe and flood-free, and do not miss the next episode in a couple of days. I wish and hope for you that you make the right decisions when it comes to your personal flood protection. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to this podcast channel if you haven't already. Now it only remains for me to wish you a good day. Do something with it. Maybe until the next podcast episode. I would be very happy. See you then. As always, stay safe and flood-free. Your Andreas KLIPPE and the whole Flood Experts team.
That's it again with the new episode of Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas KLIPPE, German engineer, book author, and head of the Flood Experts. What can Dr. Flood, Andreas KLIPPE protect for you? Anytime? Worldwide? Contact us or just click through to www.floodexperts.de/bonus. Detailed engineering. German quality. Safe. Flood protection secrets. The secrets you'll want to unfold.
Don't forget, you're only one flood barrier away.
Subscribe to the season, and you'll never be late for an episode.